Hey, so lately I've been hi, I'm Brett, and we're back here for Where Credit Is Due. I think this might be the fifth one. It's been a few weeks, and during those few weeks, I chanced upon a songwriter who I never knew existed, even though I'd heard a song he wrote because Merle Haggard made a hit out of it. But as has often been the case, I've often felt that the performer might is generally the songwriter if the performer is a songwriter, and so I didn't know that this guy Blaze Foley existed until last week, and I've been doing this huge deep dive. There's a documentary called Duct Tape Messiah, low budget thing but very interesting, and it tells you all about him. And he was friends with Townes Van Zandt, who's another guy whose songs, I'm just paddling around on the surface of the lake full of songs that guy wrote. But I was just telling Tina on the porch, because I'm going to go up to Two Witches today to their open mic. The Sunday open mic up in Danville at Two Witches has become more pleasant this year, for me anyway. And so I'm going up there today, and one of the songs I'm going to play is Poncho and Lefty. And honest to God, I was saying to Tina, the chord progressions in this song achieve maximum emotion for me. And the B minor almost hurts to play. It's so beautiful. But that's not the song I'm going to record here now. I'm going to record a Blaze Foley tune that Merle Haggard made popular, and a lot of people, as it turns out, have covered it, and I never knew he wrote it. And here's another song. Speaking of, this notion of putting chords in a sequence in which what it is the song has to say best is conveyed to the ear. Maximum emotional chord sequencing, which sounds really robotic, and I don't mean it like that. I almost felt you touching me just now. I wish I knew which way to turn and go. I feel so good and then I feel so bad. I wonder what I ought to do. If I could only fly, if I could only fly, I'd bid this place goodbye and come and be with you. But I can hardly stand, I got nowhere to run. Another sinking sun, another lonely night. The wind keeps blowing somewhere every day. Tell me things get better somewhere up the way. Just more dismal thinking on a dismal day. Sad songs for us to bear. If I could only fly, there'd be no more lonely night. And you know sometimes I write happy songs, but then sometimes little things went wrong. You know I wish that they all could make you smile. Tomorrow maybe we can get away. I'm coming home and I wanna stay. I wish you'd come with me when I go again. If I could only fly, if I could only fly, I'd bid this place goodbye to come and be with you. But I can hardly stand, got nowhere to go, another sinking sun, one more lonely night. If I could only fly, if you could only fly, if we could only fly, there'd be no more lonely night. Blaze Foley. Great song. He's got another real good one called Big Cheeseburgers and Good French Fries, which has some fabulous lines in it about people hearing what you're not saying. And let's see if I can remember Blaze's quote that I liked. It's something along the lines of, you can't always get what you want, but you're definitely going to get what you didn't expect to get if you go ahead and do what it takes to get what you want. He also said you can lead a horse to water, but you can't tie his shoes. And I noticed a poster where he was playing on the same bill as Captain Beefheart. This guy is one of these people 99.9% of America who have heard songs he wrote don't know who he is. Guy lived in a treehouse for a while. One thing said he was born in a treehouse. He got shot in the chest and killed in 1989. He's from Texas, Austin area. He had a friend named Concho January, old man, a retired veteran. And apparently this man's son was grifting off his father's pension for drugs, stealing his VA check and his Social Security in order to get, heroin or something. And Blaze Foley was the kind of person who, despite the consequences, would do what he felt was right in his heart. And he confronted this dude about what he was, about stealing from his own dad. And he pulled out a .22 and shot him in the chest, and Blaze Foley died. And that's the end of his story on this side of the grass. But I think it's really encouraging here, 31 years later, that a guy who wrote a hit song that Merle Haggard brought to the world and that came out of a million radios is being remembered as a real, ultimately self-injurious man who drank way too much, too often, who loved deeply, who very possibly existed over in the You know, they say that 1 out of 10 people are on the autistic spectrum enough to notice it. Maybe he was in there. And yet really creative, really uncompromising about his music, his appearance, his choices. I don't see many instances of him hurting other people with his choices. Unlike me, he was a man of very few words, which makes doing a documentary particularly difficult. And I would say that Blaze Foley loved his neighbor and went to the cross for that. Something to think about. Here's a man that lived enough to write songs. When I hear about 22-year-old young people going and playing an open stage in Nashville, 6 hours west of us, and coming back and acting like they're the biggest thing since Hank Williams because they played an open mic in Nashville. So what? Have you lived enough to write a song yet? And have you lived enough to claim to be a custodian of a song written by somebody who lived enough to write that song? In my experience, no. Most people don't have much to write about. They've lived a little bit too safely. They've made too few mistakes in public. Everybody makes lots of mistakes in private, but everybody that we revere, meaning people like me, who have this genre, outlaw country, stapled onto them now, and there's all these posers that are trying to do the same damn thing. Cosplay, outlaw country. There's very few people that have lived enough to write a song that you could say that's outlaw country, because what outlaw country does is it doesn't champion drinking. It acknowledges it. It owns it. Hi, I'm an alcoholic, says every great country songwriter, but none of them encourage you to do it. And most of them apologize to somebody for it in their songs. And that's why we revere them. It's because they have that rarest of American qualities, humility and accountability. Everybody complains about their freedoms being taken away by people that you've decided can take away your freedoms because you like them. Or they can take away somebody else's freedoms. I'm getting pretty close to the line here, aren't I? I don't think I'll say much more. If we could only fly, there'd be no more lonely nights.